Workshop on data centers for local businesses held by Greater Mankato Growth has sparked discussion and even protest from some community members. Evan Berg spoke with GMG and a protest organizer to learn more about what will be talked about and why some community members want to be part of the discussion.
The latest entry in Greater Mankato Growth's Chamber Lunch series has drawn an unexpected amount of interest in the Mankato community. This week's topic is data centers, what they are, and what local businesses should know.
So this Chamber Lunch is a part of an ongoing series that we have to help educate our members on issues that are timely and to hear from experts.
The purpose is to let Chamber members speak with experts on public policy, energy, and environmental impact so that they can be better informed about a growing industry.
Yeah, to be clear, there is no project being discussed, and I'm not aware of any projects of interest in the Greater Mankato region. Data centers are a huge part of our economy, and they help run sort of the world that we live in, everything from our health records to our emails.
But some community members like Ksenia Miller think the event should have been made public so that local business owners can also hear concerns from their neighbors about the controversial issue.
I feel that maybe some special consideration should have been put into how they open this event to discussion.
That's why Miller says she is organizing a protest outside of the venue at Mankato's Courtyard by Marriott to show there is interest in more public discussions on the topic and the potential impact data centers can have on the local water supply and utility bills.
Now, we understand that there is no data center, as far as we know, that is currently under the works for the Mankato area. But this is kind of where these conversations start, right?
GMG says because of the concern, it is open to continuing the conversation.
This is a part of our ongoing Chamber Lunch series for our members, but it's not the final word. We are willing to partner with other organizations on future events that might be available to the broader public.
In Mankato, Evan Berg, KEYC News Now.
That workshop is set to run from 11:30 to 1 tomorrow at the Courtyard by Marriott, Mankato, for GMG members only. The protest is set to begin at the same time near the hotel along Raintree Road.